So, in the time I have, we just want to continue with this theme that elections make a difference. And last year's elections, or 18's elections, made a difference, and we saw it already in Congress. We had actually some good things make it through. First, for us in labor, they totally repealed the 40% excise tax, or the Cadillac tax, on healthcare plans, which is, we've been fighting for that for 10 years, because March 23rd will be the 10th anniversary of the signing of the Affordable Care Act. And a lot of good things happened in there. Under Medicare, you no longer have to pay co-pays, deductibles for screenings and those kind of things. But there was one bad thing that really took a shot at union plans, and the retiree parts of union or collectively bargained plans were especially vulnerable with this excise tax that we were able to delay, but now we're finally repealed. So we can give ourselves a pat on the back for that. We went this last year or so, there were provisions in the Free Trade Bill, or NAFTA 2.0, or USMCA, that gave more monopoly power to the drug companies, gave them even extra more patent protection. And our red line in the sand, and God bless Speaker Pelosi, this was her absolute red line in the sand, that if that provision stayed in, giving more monopoly powers to drug companies, it would never see the light of day in the House. And the administration finally caved to our pressure, her pressure. It's gone as well. So that's another thing we can be happy about. On retirement savings and pension issues, as you probably know, there's a crisis in the multi-employer plans, especially in the building and construction trades, transportation. The large fund from Chicago that the Teamsters have, the Central States Fund, could totally collapse the federal insurance program at the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation. The House passed a bill, it's called the Butch-Lewis Act, named for a trucker Teamster in Ohio who passed away during this fight a few years ago. That needs to happen in the Senate as well to help smooth out and give loans to these troubled plans, just because of the demographics, because there are just more people retiring right now as the baby boomers retire. We did get some legislation that did pass on a similar program for the United Mine Workers, that they had nearly 100,000 people who were going to lose pension and or retirement benefits. They had a way to pay for it under a coal tax that the federal government levies to clean up old sites. So the interest on that tax is taking care of that. That happened at the right time at the end of the year. There may not have been a lot of coal mines in Texas, but there are retired miners here. So there were retirees in every state that can benefit from that as well. So going ahead, one good thing we need to have happen in the Senate is having our friends in the House. H.R. 3, if you're on our Friday alert or you get our emails, we did a lot of work. It's a bill that passed the House right before December's recess that will allow Medicare to negotiate for prescription drug prices and also apply those prices to the private sector. That if they don't apply to private plans, there's a heavy excise tax going on manufacturers that don't comply. That is a great leap forward. This is what we've been fighting for since 2003, when the Bush administration, the Republican Congress, privatized Part D, or part of Medicare, and then didn't allow Medicare even to negotiate for better drugs prices, the way the VA can, the way the military hospital systems can, the Indian Health Service can, but the biggest program cannot. So that we're halfway there on that. We all know this is a big issue, regardless of party. It holds really well. So, and it also will cap, if you're under Part D, your out-of-pocket expenses to $2,000 a year. No more donut hole that's closing anyway, but no more if you're in catastrophic care, you're still paying 20%, or in some cases even 5% of very large bills. But your out-of-pocket cap will be $2,000 a year. And they're going to use the savings that we get through negotiation for the first time to provide dental, vision, and hearing care under Medicare as well. So, yes. Haven't had that since 1965. So, you have these two senators here from Texas. So I would encourage you to email, visit, send a candygram, anything that you can do to get them to pay attention to pass H.R. 3. It came from